What are you doing? Like literally you are eating sour bright crawlers by the handfuls. Dude, you're just all like snacked out over here. What's the deal here? What is going on, guys? So we are back for another video, and if you just watched the previous video yesterday, today is part 2 of the new hamster enclosure build. What we have here is we have our hamster cage set up. Now I've already started playing around with the configuration of the tunnel system. I also, as I talked to you in the last video, so I cut this piece of wood down so it'll fit over the bars, and this is really just going to be a separator for Substrate. And I gotta plug that hole right there with a piece of plastic that actually came with this, and I gotta find it. Well, luckily that's the one piece of hardware that I did not throw away, so that plugs that up nicely. This side here will become all sand for a sand bath, as well as the wheel will be over here, and maybe a food bowl, not really sure. But then we will build the bedding substrate up on this side. I've already been messing around with the tunnel system. I think this is what I'm gonna go with. That way I can see fully in here if he's in here. And then this side over here will actually have an outlet covered with something, but we will see how that goes. So let's go ahead and start getting this thing put together. I think that the first step here is we're gonna go ahead and get some of the sand substrate in, get that laid out, get it nice and flat, and then we will go from there. So let's go ahead and get this started here. The type of play sand I bought was this Quikrete premium play sand. The reason I went with this is because it's screened, it's washed and sanitized, so I know that it's clean. I don't have to do anything with it. We're gonna go ahead and get this stuff in. We have the sand bed laid. We'll get the wheel in just a moment, but let's go ahead and start getting some of the substrate in over here. Now I'm gonna start with a layer of aspen shavings on the very, very bottom. And that's just to give a different texture as the hamster burrows down to the bottom. We have the tunnel system in, and basically what this allows us to do is see all the way up into the tunnel, and then gives him a point of exit here and the ability to see in here. Go ahead and put some of the substrate down inside of the tube, just so there's a soft place for the hamster to hide. We're gonna mix this up as well, just a little bit, to kind of give it a different texture, as well as make it a little more natural looking. And then we're gonna top this off with an actual natural colored substrate. Okay, well, we have a good bit of the substrate in, and we need to finish out putting the substrate in so we can get all of the cool little accessories in here, huh, Max?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Good.
It's a little bright, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get the rest of the substrate in here. Let's go ahead and get him a little bridge. Not that he's ever going to use this bridge to get into the sand. We're going to go ahead and get that in there like that. All right, we're going to add a little bit, just a touch of the Timothy hay, just around the substrate.
When we're done with this, it's going to look like a real habitat.
All right, we're going to add some of these natural balls just to have some play items.
The sand bath right here, it's kind of like our bath, just we do it in the water, they do it in the sand. It's just like ours.
Exactly.
Bath. It's just it's your sand.
Hey, so it is the next day. Unfortunately, because I live near the lake, it's a very kind of, not secluded, but the neighborhood is kind of off the beaten path a little bit, and I have big, tall, like 60-year-old pine and pecan trees over the house. So there's not a whole lot of natural light that comes into my house. It's actually kind of dark. So when I try to film at night, it it's not conducive, and I have lights in the house, but it still doesn't work very well. So we had to give up for last night. We're back here this morning, and we are gonna finish this hamster enclosure. Now, there is not a whole lot left to do. If you notice, we have the nice little sand bath area over here. I will tell you this. This is a 12-inch wheel, which is a giant wheel. It's a silent spinner wheel. This is actually going into the existing hamster enclosure. It is not going into this enclosure. We are going to be putting the other wheel into this enclosure because it's a little bit shorter and it fits in here. Now, I don't know that that's actually going to work depending on the type of hamster we get. If in the case that we get another Syrian hamster and it requires a larger wheel like this, what I will end up doing is modifying the top to allow for that particular wheel. What happens right now is this particular wheel hits the bottom of the top and it does not allow it to spin freely. So we're going to try that smaller wheel depending on what we put in here. Now, looking through here, what we have is we have a cool little walking bridge from the soft bedding substrate into the sand, and you know, it's just for decoration. We have a couple of these little seagrass and rattan balls. I think this is made out of willow branch. We have this little willow tunnel that is hiding the PVC tunnel that goes into here. We have another entrance into the tunnel here, which allows us to see all the way down into the back here, which will allow us to see if the little guy is in there. We have a little Timothy hay mat for him to chill and eat on. Another little hideout here with all of some of the Timothy grass and Timothy hay that is mixed into the substrate that is good for him to eat. Now, this is really just to kind of give it a more natural look, a little walking bridge kind of thing, just for some sort of a, you know, enrichment. We're also going to probably use the other little walking bridge, but I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a moment. Actually, let's do that now. All right, so we got this little the little walking bridge actually hung from the top here, and then the little ladder that goes up into it, so he can kind of get up there and chill, and he still has an ability to get down from right there, as you can see. Just a little more enrichment for the little guy or girl, whatever it may be. Sand bath, walking bridge into the soft substrate, the grass, seagrass and willow and rattan balls with the willow tunnel that covers in the first entrance to the tunnel system. Little wood hammock kind of thing with a walking bridge to get up into it. Second entrance or exit into the tunnel system. Another little burrow up in there where homeboy or homegirl can hang out and do its thing. A little Timothy hay mat, and then we have 4 different types, or actually 3 different types of substrate. We have some aspen shavings, some regular white bedding, as well as some natural color bedding, and then some Timothy hay spread out throughout just to give it a more naturalistic look. So hopefully you guys like this, because I definitely do. What a great idea. Thank you, Victoria Rachel, for making your video, which has allowed me to make my video. All right, guys, so we're back in the fish room, and I left my turbo start out. You know what that means? This bottle of turbo start now has to go into the trash because turbo start is a live nitrifying bacteria and it is required to be in the refrigerator, and I left it out last night when we were setting up a new tank in here for Brenton's video. So yeah, we'll go pick some up today. It's always good to have that stuff in the refrigerator at all times in case you need it. But we are back in the fish room. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that hamster enclosure. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to ask. But comment below and let me know what you thought about that. Also drop a like on this video. Let's take a look at all the fish tanks real quick, since a lot of you guys are here specifically for the fish. Well, we have the guppy breeding tank, and for anybody that was not on my live stream the other day, we have baby guppies inside of this tank. And you can see the little guppy fry. There's one there. Look at that guppy. But there's a whole bunch in here actually. I just don't see them at the moment. Oh, they're all over here maybe. There's some guppy fry, more guppy fry. There's all kinds of guppy fry in here, which is fantastic. So I'm not really sure what like specific species of guppies or what color they are, because there's so many different guppies in here, but it'll be interesting to see what those turn out to be. Now, moving over here to the blackwater tank. So we have the neon tetra, as well as the little paradise betta, as well as all of the pest snails. Back there, oh, look at that. There is the old hill stream loach, who is just chilling in all of the bubble wall because that's where he likes to hang out. Moving down here, we have the turtle tank. In that back corner there, you can see that pretty little pink belly side neck. There's a neon tetra right there. And moving over here, there's old Elon, the musk turtle. He's just chilling. And then the snake neck is up in the waterfall. He likes to hang out up there, just kind of feeling the flow of the water up underneath the lights. So he's chilling there. Everything in here looks good. Moving down here, we have, oh, look at that. The male betta. Is that a bubble nest? Oh my gosh. I do believe that we have the start of a bubble nest. We have the start of a bubble nest. Look at that. Bubble nest. It's the start. And there's a little female right there. There's the male. We'll keep an eye on that. If he starts kind of, well, he may have been trying to court her there through the actual fence there, or he was trying to kill her, one of the two. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that and see what he does. We have one of the rescue bettas here who is still good, and then we have the other one right here. So the two rescue bettas will be finding forever homes very soon. Moving into the indoor pond, we have the big old tiger Oscar. We also have the big old albino tiger Oscar, which I told everybody in my live view the other day, which if you didn't see this, he is suffering from a swim bladder disorder. You can see his abdomen is distended right here. So we are keeping a really close eye on him. I will tell you today, 2 days ago, he was unable to even get to the bottom of the pond. Today, his buoyancy has, or his ability to control his buoyancy has actually come back. So I think it's really because he was overeating. And what I'm going to start doing is actually target feeding some of these guys, because this little bass right here is actually going to be leaving this indoor pond. He's probably going to be going into Brenton's pond. And really the reason is because he is an aggressive eater and he takes everything. The moment I put stuff in here, he is on it. In fact, watch this. We're going to unplug this aerator for just a moment. We're going to grab some of these crickets. And if you watch how fast he grabs these crickets. And they're gone. I mean, look at him. He takes them from everybody. So what happens is when the Oscars are ready to eat and there is food that actually gets in here, they eat so much so fast that, you know, they basically overfeed, and it can cause a swim bladder disorder, which I think is what happened to this guy. He probably was constipated. Oh, look at, there's the knife fish. He was probably constipated or something like that. He seems to be doing much better today, but that's by far my favorite fish in this whole tank. I mean, I really like the knife fish too. But that Oscar's been here from the beginning of this particular indoor pond. Look at the bass. He's just following my hand. Oh, look, hey, Jeffrey, calm down. You're not taking my finger. So everybody in this pond is looking good. Everything in the fish room is looking good. There's the little clownfish. They're looking good. I need to clean this glass. Everybody in here is looking good. Let's move in and look at the other tanks. Here is the guppy breeding tank, which right now there's only males in here, but we're going to separate some of these guys and get these more kind of aligned with what we're trying to do with the different breeds of fish. There is one fry in here that came from another tank. I'm not sure exactly what type of color that guy is going to be, but everybody in here is looking good. Here is the show quality betta. Yes, it is alive. Everything is good in this tank. Well, looking at the rasbora tank, we have all the rasboras. Everything in here is looking good. Over to the 100-gallon. Well, we got old Zeckley and Billy and Mr. Pleco and the black angelfish, and all of the Buenos Aires tetra, and the Serpe tetra, and the big old chunky monkey Cory catfish, the ballast shark, all of the glow tetra. Oh, look, you can see the rope fish in here. Look at him. That little scaly looking thing in that hole is the rope fish. Now, if you notice that little entry there, that little hole there, little hole right there, this whole piece of wood is hollowed out underneath, and that rope fish like tangles himself up in there and never really comes out unless it's dark outside or dark in the tank. So he's just chilling in there. Everything in this tank is looking good, and yeah. I need to get my gravel vac back out and actually suck up some of this poop, but overall it looks really, really good. All right, guys, well, as I was editing the video, I realized I did not make an outro yesterday when filming this. So I'm sitting here waiting for little Max Robert to get out of school and figured I'd go ahead and film this outro. And before we get into the outro, I want to do another positive comment shout out. All right, so this comment comes from Crystal. It's literally just Crystal. Great work. I really love your videos and all the information you give out on how to build everything you do. That hamster is going to be lucky, and she is lucky to have you as a hamster parent. Keep up the great work. Much love from McAllen, Texas. Well, Crystal, I really appreciate it. Thank you for commenting, thank you for watching, and thank you overall for the support. Back to the outro. hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. So this is part 2 of a 3-part video. The third part is actually getting a new hamster. There were a couple of comments in the last video about moving the existing hamster. The existing hamster is actually going to be staying in the current enclosure that it's in. We're actually going to be getting a new hamster for this enclosure. So the other hamster will not be moved. He or she is staying exactly where they're at currently. The only thing changing about that particular enclosure is the 12-inch wheel that you saw in this video is actually going into that enclosure for the Syrian hamster, and the 9-inch wheel is moving into this enclosure because I do not plan on getting another Syrian hamster. Well, actually, I'm not sure what hamster I'm getting, but you will see that in a video coming out this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this video today, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. If you have yet to subscribe to my channel, or you have not followed me on Instagram, and my Instagram is always linked in the description of my videos, please do that now. And hey, oh, and also, the outro song's about to be different because some music company out of India has decided to copyright a song that is licensed under the Creative Commons license, which is completely wrong, and they're trying to fix that. But until that happens, I'm not going to use that outro song any longer because it's too hard to figure it out. I can't monetize my videos because I keep getting copyrighted. So anyway, the outro song has changed, and that's why you're hearing something different. But anyway, like I said, we will see you next time.